Good day, everyone. So I'm going to walk through kind of a building demo. We're going to spend a bit of time in the accelerator, which is where I am logged into right now. Then I'm going to jump into a shift of this accelerator, this Power Apps environment to include some of the one-plan stuff that Jim just talked about. And then I'm going to end with just a quick glance at a more complete built-out one that touches on some of the other things that he covered. The idea being, I want you to see what the accelerator provides out of the box. There's a lot of rich capabilities there, and I want to spend a couple of minutes on it. Then I want to show you sort of how we've extended it naturally and sort of within that context, and then end with a bit of a broader vision of all that it can do when you look at what Power Apps provides as a platform and where you might take this and some ideas and things that we've seen clients do in the past. So that's the journey we're going to go on. So I've logged in, I'm in the dashboard here, and you can see some of that capability. So it starts off with a nice dashboard itself that shows some different reports or the ability to drill into some data and learn a bit about what's going on in our particular project environment. So now we're just going to kind of work our way down that left navigation. I'm going to start with project requests. Having done Project Online and before that Project Server implementations a lot, this was always a popular request where clients were looking for different ways of capturing this. And now built into this accelerator is sort of this native capability where I could come in, I'll just grab one of these just to show you quickly, some rich information about what this particular request might be, some other data we might want, align it to a priority or other types of data that we need to capture. And again, all of this form is configurable so we could define the information that we need in that first initial request. And then we can wrap around that a workflow or a Microsoft flow to say, once we've reviewed this and accepted it or approved it, we want to move it over and create a project or a program or assign it to a program, whatever that case may be in your situation. So again, the Power Platform gives us this capability. Define a simple form. Here's a good starter as part of the accelerator. Wrap around it the workflow that your organization wants to use or the governance structure that you have, and move it on into assign it as part of a program and create a project and begin that sort of more complete journey. So very simply, I have this intake scenario. I can group these. I could say, well, I want to look at it, by priority, and I can quickly see all my critical requests, my high, my moderates, my lows. I might look at where they are in terms of approval process. So very rich capability here that I can look at and use right away and deploy to my organization. So that's requests. Now programs. And again, as longtime implementers of Project Online, this was always a common request. Well, can we define a program and can we give that program characteristics? And that was always a bit of a challenge, but the accelerator gives us that right out of the gate. So if I just pick any one of these programs and go and look at it, my program itself has data, it has characteristics or metadata, it has a name, it has a state, it has an owner and so forth. But it also has, sorry, wrong screen. It also has financials. It has a budget. We've set aside a budget for this particular program and an expected level of benefits that it's going to yield. And so far, we have about just over 600,000 worth of that budget remaining because the projects assigned to it are consuming 584 to date. And you can see the other data here. Again, fully configurable, but now I can manage a program budget based on the projects that participate in that program and track and see how I am progressing both in terms of budget spend and potentially benefit yield and so forth, or ROI or other metrics you might want to track. The program itself can have a status. So I can now provide status to a program at a program level, not just at the project level. So you can see here, sort of basic demo of this program is doing just fantastic. And then there are those projects that make up this particular program. And so here they are. They're also in this projects list. And I'm going to kind of bounce back and forth between both. But I can click on and work with these particular projects from in here. I can add a new one, a new project to my program, or I could bring it in from the intake process and assign it to this particular program, thus consuming some of that budget and so forth. So very powerful capability that can be expanded and extended using Power Apps. Again, you can leverage Flow and other things here to sort of build this out and make it more yours, but you have rich capability to start with right out of the gate. So jumping over to the projects list. So this is my complete list of my active projects. Think of it, if you're in Project Online or Project Server, think of it as Project Center, similar concept. And again, I can group them. So I might want to group them by stage. You'll see Create, Select, Plan, Manage, a paradigm we often use. I can leave them ungrouped and just look at the whole list. All the kinds of things that you would see and be used to if you've used Project Online in the past. Now let's sort of dig into it a little bit deeper. First of all, I can actually edit these right on this screen. So I can change the status of a project just like that right here in my main view. I can change my views around to be, by priority or by status. I can give it sort of different views you can think of, or you can configure more. I can also show charts and look at a different chart. As if you're used to Power BI and other Microsoft products, it's sort of very similar paradigm. But I want to spend some time drilling into a project in our list. Think of these as sort of project detail pages if you're familiar with Project Online. And here I have my core one, my summary data. Would have brought some of that data over from the initial request, but I might have further filled it out. Plus it's consuming data and calculations from elsewhere in here to give it more rich information right here on this home page. And fully configurable. I'll probably say that about every page. Then there's the actual business case. Again, some of this data might have come from the initial request, things like how it aligned to priority, but you may have further filled that out as part of your process in defining this project. Some of this data might have come in because the request was approved and you now need to fill it out. I'm going to skip over tasks just for a second so I can spend some time there. But now we have the risks, issues, changes, and status reporting. In Project Online, these were SharePoint lists in the project site. Now they have been elevated, if you will, to be a Power App in this core component. That gives us a lot of rich reporting capabilities and analytics later, but it brings it right to the fore here. So here I have, a quick risk I might have assigned to this project. I've got some requirements or an issue rather that I'm trying to track and so forth. And then I can do a change request if I wanted to. And then I can create a status report. So I want to go and create a new status report. Let's say I'm going to make this my July report. I'm going to be the submitter because I'm in here as Daniel. It's reporting date, we'll say today. And I'm going to submit to Steve, why not? And I could write out some accomplishments and so forth, save and close. And I have now created a status report. There we go. Now there's my July report. It's missing some data, I didn't fill it out fully. But I can now keep a chronological or numerical history or running total or tab of all the status reports that we've created for this particular project. You can see the other data that's making up part of that story. Now let's jump to the tasks. So this is the integration with Project for the Web. So embedded in here is my Project for the Web project. And you can see we've created some tasks, some are done. So this is sort of your standard task list where I can just come in and say add new task, type it in, give it a duration, align it with things, create a dependency, and away I go. Very conventional sort of scheduling, nice clean user interface. But maybe I want to look at this differently. Maybe I want to look at it in the board view, similar to how Planner might work or anyone who's used Kanban boards. And I can start to drag and drop tasks between these different, and move this over to To-Do. I can move these tasks around on a board and organize them this way. And I'm grouped by bucket. I could group by progress instead and see these are the ones that are completed. Let's say that that's actually in progress and so forth. Third, the actual schedule concept. So we have that here as well. If I come here and click on this and say, let me just scroll to tasks, make this go quicker. I'm going to maybe shorten my zoom a little bit. And you can see there's all my tasks. I can move a task and make the changes accordingly to that project. Move that back. So rich UI, Microsoft continues to invest aggressively in Project for the Web and add new capabilities all the time. It gives us sort of a very powerful desktop scheduling tool, all done here in the web. It's a very fluid UI. It's very very new and modern. It gives us those three different views. You can type it out in a grid, almost like Excel. You can do it in a board similar to Planner or to any Kanban board technique, or you can do it in a more conventional timeline like project itself. The entire project engine is running in the background, and they continue to leverage its pieces to continue to mature and grow out this solution. But here it is inside the accelerator in our embedded solution as part of this to give us that scheduling capability, and all the other pieces are wrapped around it and are drawing from it data, budget consumption, progress, resource usage, all that information we're gleaning out of this and into other reports and other pages on this solution. I'll quickly wrap on the accelerator with some reports. Let me just log in quickly to Power BI. Here we go. Lots of reports in here. Jim, showed some of these in the slide deck. You could see the different reports that ship with the accelerator, and because it's Power BI, the world's your oyster. You can build lots of other reports with the data that you add, the fields you add, the structure that you need to report on and manage your projects in. So I have my request dashboard. Jim showed the portfolio health, I think was one of the ones that he showed. This is the list of projects and how they're progressing, and you can see the different information. Again, you can change these graphics to be bar charts and pie charts and all kinds of different things to make it yours. So that's the accelerator fairly quickly, but wanted to give you a good overview of what it does. What we've done at OnePlan is we're just going to change the area quickly. And you'll notice instantly a bunch more functionality appears. We're back on that same home dashboard, but now I can go and look at my work, the work assigned to me as Daniel. Let's give it a second to load. Okay, so it's loading up that information. And so we've layered in, this is my work or my timesheet. The same request capability is there, but now if I jump to projects and I pick, let me just grab one here. Should work. Now you can see there are additional tabs, and these additional tabs give me capabilities now to go and capture rich budget information. In this particular example, using our tools, we can now do this monthly across a set of cost categories and expense types. Or I want to do resource planning, and I want to go beyond the data that's in Project for the Web, and I want to be able to plan this against the whole resource pool. So here you could see these are the resources on my project, how they're allocated both on this project and other work that they are on. So if I jump down here, I can look at, this is all the projects that Daniel's on and why he's over allocated. You can see the horrific over allocations there. We're going to need to fix that. So I can start to make some decisions both in this project and as a resource scheduler as to where I'm going to move my resources to balance this and fix this. So we've taken, again, we're still inside the accelerator, we're still inside the Power Apps frame, but we've added that next layer of data that Gartner talks about, the rich resource management, the financial planning, the optimization, so I can jump in here quickly and do resource optimization and look at that entire project pool again in a different way and say that I want to do prioritization. So I'm going to go to project prioritization, and I can run through a whole set of scenarios here as to how we want to prioritize these projects against budget constraints or resource constraints. So I have this rich capability here that I've added in to extend this platform to meet those sort of more complex and more mature needs. I'm going to end just by jumping to another environment. This one sort of takes Power Apps even further. Jim showed this, so here's the insights. He showed this on the screenshot. We talked about objectives and key results, so the articulation of strategy. So again, we've built that in as a Power App. There's my objectives. There's my key results that link to those objectives. We've turned demand management to more than just requests and added ideas and challenges and other things. This is where Power Apps really starts to shine in a PMO. Is engaging those other business processes and disparate systems you might be using, either tying to them using tools like Power Automate, I keep using the old term, or creating new Power Apps and doing away with an old sort of manual process or older sort of technology and bringing it in and engaging the audience through the Power Platform. So this one is an example of some of the things that our customers have asked us to do to extend it, to take the accelerator as the base, and then continue to grow and build on top of it with more and more pieces of Lego to build bigger and bigger and more complex solutions to meet their adaptive project management needs.